Oops, my hand slipped again, lol. I became scared as I looked at the potted plant in front of me. At this rate, not just me but even my child I'm carrying will be in danger. Until now, I thought it was fine if it was just me, but I've reached my limit, pretending to be okay. I told Emily upstairs, don't worry about it, but if you keep treating me badly, karma might catch up to you. My name is Amy Westfield, a 28-year-old office worker. I married my husband, Sam, 4 years ago. We met through a college volunteer club. We were part of a volunteer group. Although Sam and I weren't in the same department, we became good friends there, mainly because he was the only one close to my age, so we hit it off right away. Initially, we were just friends through our volunteer activities, but I eventually started to have feelings for Sam. It seemed the feeling was mutual. So we started dating after college. We got jobs at different companies, but he still made time for dates, which made me super happy. And at the age of 24, I married Sam. Since we married young, people were concerned, but we managed to convince them, and we got married. Well, except for one person. Now, Sam and I live in a small apartment close to both of our workplaces. We would have liked a bigger house, but we haven't had kids yet, and we're saving money for the future. So we concluded that an apartment is fine for now. But there was one person who disagreed. One day off, while we were lounging around at home, the doorbell rang multiple times. I felt a sense of dread as I opened the door. Why didn't you answer after all that ringing? What an inconsiderate woman. That was Sam's mother, Emily. She was the one who was against our marriage until the end. I gave a forced smile, but Sam, hearing her words, responded coldly. Hey, Mom, don't you think you're being too cold to Amy? Stunned by Sam's words, Emily told us, the reason I was against you two in the first place is because the wife my son chose shows no signs of providing an heir. It's really frustrating. Every time Emily sees me, she asks if an heir is coming yet. It's not like Sam's family is wealthy or anything. They just want to continue the Westfield gene. What's worse, Emily insists that the baby must be a boy. Her reason? I don't want a girl because she might turn out like you. And that's why I find Emily particularly hard to deal with. But Sam said this. Putting so much pressure on Amy will just stress her out. Can't you be a little kinder to Amy, Mom? Emily had no rebuttal to Sam's words. Just go away for now. Taking this opportunity, Sam managed to shoo Emily away. I thanked Sam. I'm sorry. I've been so useless and causing trouble for you, Sam. But Sam told me, no, it's fine. It's really not your fault, Amy. Mom is always just nagging at you. Whenever Emily visits, it always turns into this kind of apology fest. I'm always leaning on Sam, and I can't stand up to Emily myself, even though I think this can't continue. I question myself if, according to Emily, I really must have a baby. Thus, I've been living each day harboring these worries. A few months later, I started to notice something was off about my health. It was while I was eating. Something's off. I don't feel like eating much. Sam had noticed my discomfort too. You've been leaving work early a lot lately. You should really go see a doctor. Heeding Sam's advice, I decided to go to the hospital. After some tests, I found out. Congratulations, Mrs. You're pregnant. I was incredibly happy to hear those words. Finally, my long-awaited child was on the way. I quickly called Sam. Sam, I'm pregnant. Really? That's great. We were overjoyed for a while, but then a thought crossed my mind. Should we tell my Mill about this? Hearing this, Sam seemed a bit anxious, but said, yeah, we should tell her. I'll come with you. I feel like it'll be okay if Sam is with me, but since we still don't know the baby's gender, I'm curious about how Emily will react. But I thought Emily would be happy about the pregnancy. Little did I know the frightening experience that would follow. A week after finding out I was pregnant, since both of us had the day off, we went to Sam's family home to inform Emily about the pregnancy. Despite the various anxieties, The news was joyful nonetheless, but I was still nervous. I hesitantly rang the doorbell. Emily came out, looking rather grumpy. "What is it? Do you need something?" I was slightly irritated, but I tried to keep a straight face. Taking a deep breath, I said to Emily, "I'm pregnant." Upon hearing those words, Emily's expression suddenly changed. "Really? Come inside. I want to hear all about it." I was surprised by Emily's sudden change in attitude, but we decided to go inside her house. Emily seemed pleased and said, "That's great news. Looks like we'll have someone to carry on the family line. Do you know the gender yet?" Sam looked annoyed at Emily's behavior. "Mom, Amy's not even in her stable period yet. Don't put pressure on her." Yet Emily ignored Sam and started grilling me with questions. "So what are you going to do now? Come here anytime. I'll teach you how to raise a child. Is that okay?" I thought that Emily's pressure could become overwhelming, but then again, this pregnancy might be an opportunity to get along better with Emily. She seemed genuinely happy, but I was sorely mistaken. Just as we were about to leave Emily's house, a flower pot fell from above. Sam and I looked up in shock. There was Emily, smirking, holding a potted plant. "Sorry about that. I'm growing some plants upstairs." The pot slipped out of my hand when I was repotting. We were right underneath. That could have been dangerous. "Be careful," Emily apologized, but I felt she was glaring at me for a moment. I was concerned, but snapped out of it when Sam said, "Let's go." On our way home, I shared a resolve with Sam. "Your mom seemed happy about the pregnancy. Maybe this could be a chance to get along with her." Sam was shocked at my words. I mean, I've been griping to Sam about how much I can't stand Emily. That's how much I've disliked her in the past. Yet, here I am saying that I want to improve my relationship with Emily. If you want to get along with my mom, I won't stop you. "But are you sure?" Sam looked somewhat concerned. "After all, she's my only family, and there are things that worry me." Sam doesn't have a father. His dad passed away from an illness when he was still a student. So even though Emily had been harsh, Sam respects her for raising him as a single mother. Of course, even though Sam has been pretty tough on Emily at times, I've heard he does respect her as a mother. I too began to think that as a future mother, maybe I could learn something from Emily. When I shared my thoughts with Sam, he respected my decision, but this turned out to be a huge mistake. 6 months into my pregnancy, I applied for maternity leave at work. Sam also applied for paternity leave, but was told that men are not granted that privilege. I wasn't able to take paternity leave. The reason Sam applied for paternity leave is because ever since he learned he was going to be a dad, he wanted to develop a sense of being a father. Sam didn't have many memories with his own father, so he didn't really know how a father helps with raising children. That's why he felt the need to learn about parenting, and he started studying child-rearing techniques and even learned how to make formula. I shared this with Emily. After hearing about his decision, I tried to visit Sam's family home to get parenting advice from Emily. But all Emily did was boast about how perfect her own parenting style was, saying nowadays it's too lenient. She went on and on about how things were different in her time. Moreover, whenever I'd express my own thoughts, she'd start off by dismissing them. I often felt stressed out by Emily's lectures, and this time was no different. You don't need paternity leave. If you're off, who's going to earn the money? Besides, if you take paternity leave, it'll put more strain on Sam, won't it? Paternity leave is just an excuse. Hearing this was, and surprisingly, a big shock to me. If people say I'm just being lazy for taking maternity leave, I wanted to argue that it would just increase the baby's stress. But I felt too stressed to counter Emily's relentless tirade. And on my way out, as I was about to leave through the front door, crash, a flower pot dropped from above. Looking up, there was Emily, grinning. Oops, my hand slipped again. This kind of terror has happened every time I visit. Every time I'm about to leave, Emily often heads upstairs, and the timing always seems perfect. As I step outside, a flower pot conveniently falls from above. Emily always apologizes with a chuckle, but I can't feel an ounce of remorse from her. At first, I thought she dropped them by accident, but lately, it feels intentional. I started to dread going to Sam's family home. When I told Sam, he suggested that I stop visiting altogether, but stopping suddenly felt weird, so I refused. Just make sure you're not pushing yourself too hard, Sam told me. But then, something tragic happened. That day, I had gone for a prenatal checkup, and from the ultrasound, we found out our baby is a girl. I felt I needed to tell Emily this, so I decided to visit Sam's family home again. I don't want it to be a girl, because she'll end up like you. Emily's words echoed in my mind, even with my anxiety. I told Emily about our baby girl. Then Emily looked at me with disbelief and said, "You're just useless, aren't you? If you were to give birth, it would be someone as unremarkable as you. I've been kind to you until now, but you're a disappointment till the end. Just go home." I was really shocked. Sure enough, the moment I mentioned having a baby, Emily's attitude changed dramatically. Maybe she wasn't being kind to me in the first place, given that she had already dropped a flower pot. But when we were at my parents' house, she did seem to make an effort to be considerate. Her attitude clearly changed the moment she found out about the baby, and she even said nasty things about her own grandchild. Holding back tears, I headed for the front door. Just as I was leaving, crash, a flower pot fell right in front of me. Until now, the pots had been dropped at a safe distance, like they were intended to be warnings rather than direct threats. But this time was different. She was clearly aiming for me. I looked up to see Emily grinning down at me. Oops, my hand slipped again, LOL. Seeing the flower pot, I felt scared. This was dangerous not only for me but also for my baby. I had been putting on a brave face, but even I have my limits. I called up to Emily on the second floor. "It's fine, but you know, karma might get you for mistreating your daughter-in-law." I said that and went back to my home. On the way back, I realized I couldn't let Emily bully me any longer. I thought about how to fight back. I went to a home improvement store on my way, and I purchased something. That night, I told Sam everything. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. After listening, Sam was visibly furious. "This is too much. I can't forgive this. I've been turning a blind eye because she's my mother, but even I have my limits." So I told him about the item I bought to fight back against Emily, and that I would go back to Sam's parents' house. Upon hearing this, Sam told me something shocking. "You're kidding, right?" I couldn't believe what he was saying. According to Sam, it was something he was planning to take to his grave without telling anyone. But hearing it made me even more determined to stand up to Emily. So I devised a plan. Sam agreed to it, and even my parents decided to join in. The day of reckoning came. I went over to Sam's house. When I rang the bell, Emily answered, looking quite irritated. "What do you want? I have nothing to talk to a useless daughter-in-law like you." Smiling, I handed Emily something. "It's a gift. I appreciate all you've been doing for us." I gave Emily a gift, and she seemed surprised when she opened it. Is this? What I had given her was a potted plant. It wasn't just any gift, of course. I had a certain expectation in mind when I handed Emily the potted plant. Emily smirked and said, Well, you've got some taste for a useless daughter-in-law. Thanks. I'll put it to use right away." Emily walked into the house, and I deliberately turned my back and wandered away from the entrance. I sensed someone behind me, so I moved a little farther away from the door to check. It would take me a few minutes to reach the first floor. After a while, I heard a loud thud. When I turned around, there was Emily, having fallen flat on her butt, holding the potted plant I had given her earlier. Turns out, Emily had climbed up to the roof to try and drop the potted plant down. And because I came outside later than usual, she apparently slipped off the roof. Emily was screaming, "Ouch, it hurts." I glanced at her and walked away. Emily yelled, "Help me! Are you listening, you useless woman?" I ignored her and called Sam. After the call, I headed straight to my parents' home. When I got there, my parents greeted me warmly. I told my parents what had happened, and they said, "You've been through a lot," comforting me. Then I received a call from Sam, reporting that Emily would be hospitalized for a while. I told Sam I'd be staying at my parents' for now, and he was fine with it. I stayed at my parents' home for about a month. My due date was getting closer, so I wanted to rest. But I heard from Sam that Emily would be discharged soon. I decided to settle things with Emily at this point. When I met Sam again, it seemed like he had handled things well. Emily was going to be discharged soon, and he had also prepared something for after her punishment. Emily is about to be discharged from the hospital, and it seems like they've also prepared everything for her post-recovery care. I was simply grateful for everything. I was waiting at my parents' house when the doorbell rang. Since my parents were out for the day, I went to the front door and opened it. There were Emily in a wheelchair and Sam pushing it. The moment Emily saw my face, she was livid. "What the heck have you done? You think you can just leave me and not take me to the hospital and get away with it?" "Mom, calm down." To avoid causing a scene outside, I led them into the living room. Emily kept complaining, saying, "This house isn't wheelchair friendly," ignoring her remarks. I got straight to the point once we were in the living room. "I've decided to place you in a care facility for now. I've already applied for a spot in a care facility, and luckily, there was an opening. So it worked out well." Upon hearing my words, Emily was livid. "Don't mess with me. You've been ignoring me. If you had helped me, none of this would have happened." Usually, I'd be intimidated by Emily's words, but not this time. I calmly said to Emily, "The root cause of all this is that you tried to hit me with a flower pot from the rooftop. You tried to drop a flower pot on me. Too bad it didn't work, because I wasn't cowering like I usually do." Emily clicked her tongue and muttered, "If it weren't for you, I could have had Sam all to myself." Then, Sam, who had been silent, asked Emily, "Why do you despise Amy so much?" Emily tried to persuade Sam by saying, "Sam, there are better women for you than her. She's not cute, and she's not smart either. Since you met her in some club, she probably isn't even part of any good clubs. Besides, enough already." Emily had been bad-mouthing me, and Sam finally snapped at her. "Mom doesn't understand anything. I met Amy in a club, yay, but it was a volunteer club. Amy is a really kind person who's considerate of everyone. She's not like you, who's all about looks." "Sam, how could you talk to your parent like that?" Emily was about to say something else, but Sam continued, "Besides, you had me as a result of an affair, right?" Emily was at a loss for words. The shocking truth I heard from Sam. Sam was the child born from Emily's affair. Emily had an affair before Sam was born, and because of that affair, Emily got pregnant. Moreover, it was too late for an abortion. Emily consulted her affair partner, who ran away upon hearing it. When she discussed it with Sam's father, he agreed that the child was innocent and gave permission for the birth. And that's how Sam was born. Sam had heard about this situation before his father passed away, that his real dad was actually Emily's affair partner. Upon hearing this, he had sincerely vowed that when he got married, he would cherish his wife. Emily's earlier anger seemed to have evaporated. Her face suddenly turned pale. Sam calmly spoke to her. "Mom, I'm truly grateful for giving birth to me and raising me, but this time you've gone too far. I have to protect Amy now, as well as the child she's carrying. Having you around only causes problems." Finally, Emily started to cry and apologized to us. "I'm sorry. From now on, I'll be kind to Amy, and I'll take good care of the baby she's carrying." We heard Emily's apology. "But it's too little too late," Sam said quietly. "It's impossible. What Mill did was an act that could have taken Amy's life and that of the child. Yet, blaming Amy for her own injuries is something I can't accept. All that you did is her own doing. I do feel sorry that she got hurt, but there's a problem with her continuous harassment that led to it. Consider the fact that I took her to the hospital as my final act of kindness towards her." Then Emily turned to me, crying and begging, "Amy, please let bygones be bygones. Please," convinced Sam. I was boiling with anger at Emily's words. Even now, she seems to just want to protect herself. I coldly responded, "Let it go. Who are you to say that? It's not your place. I was terrified because of you. I bet my unborn daughter was scared too. With you around, it feels like no matter how many lives I or my child have, it wouldn't be enough. So I never want to see your face again." At those words, Emily was left speechless. Sam said he would take Emily to a care facility and left his parents' house. Emily's face was completely drained of color at that time. Later on, Emily was admitted to a care facility. She seemed to constantly murmur Sam's name, and the other residents didn't want anything to do with her. During a medical examination, it was found that Emily had a severe fracture in her hip, with a slim chance of walking again. She also showed signs of mental instability and depression. Furthermore, she had developed mild dementia. Although he doesn't show himself often, it seems Sam checks in on her from time to time. Not sure how she's living now, but I guess it's all her own doing, and I don't have any sympathy. On the other hand, I safely gave birth to a baby girl. I received words of encouragement from Sam and my parents like, "Congratulations, and you did great." Raising a child is challenging, but with Sam's help, it's been a lot easier. Once things settle down with child rearing, I'm thinking of going back to work. I truly vowed to protect Sam and my daughter and become the best mom I can be.